Cancelled.
Schweezy.
Okay, so coming from Newsweek, this fellow's back again. Dr. Oz campaigns hires actors to play convicted felon. I'm going to start that sentence over. Dr. Oz's campaign hires actors to play convicted felons supporting Fetterman. I didn't read that wrong. There was a misprint in this. This is from Newsweek. Newsweek figured that shit out. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz has reportedly hired people to portray convicted felons as part of his campaign against Democratic opponent Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Oz, a celebrity heart surgeon endorsed by former President Donald Trump, has strongly criticized Fetterman for his stance on crime and, in particular, the fact that he wants to end mandatory life sentences for second-degree murder. Images of people portraying convicted felons and holding signs saying inmates for Fetterman were shared to Twitter on Tuesday morning by Patriot Takes, a Twitter account that describes itself as dedicated researchers monitoring and exposing right-wing extremism and other threats to democracy. The individuals shown wearing orange jumpsuits, and one can be seen holding a sign that says, "Another convicted felon for Fetterman." One of the people depicted is Colin Matthews, who originally shared the photo of himself with Oz, as well as with others dressed in the jumpsuits, to his Instagram page. He also discussed dressing as a convicted felon. The photo shows Oz autographing one of the signs in question, with Matthews standing next to him. "Last night might have been the greatest thing I've ever done in politics yet. I was hired by the Oz campaign to play the role of a felon supporting Fetterman. I can't believe how many idiots thought I was legit out of jail," Matthews wrote. Oz's communication director, Brittany Yannick, previously shared a tweet from journalist Justin Schweitzer about the Inmates for Fetterman initiative. That tweet featured the campaign's press release and a photo that included Matthews and others in orange jumpsuits. Oz has taken aim at Fetterman over his stance on convicted felons, with the Republicans accusing Fetterman of wanting to eliminate life sentences for murderers. However, factcheck.org has found that claim to be inaccurate. In fact, Fetterman is opposed to mandatory life sentences for those convicted of second-degree murder. The Oz campaign also recently said that 2 members of Fetterman's campaign staff were convicted murderers and should be fired. If Fetterman cared about Pennsylvania's crime problem, he'd prove it by firing the convicted murderers he employs on his campaign, Yannick said in a statement on Thursday. Fetterman's campaign responded by saying the accusations was a gross smear, and the campaign workers, Dennis Horton and Lee Horton, were wrongly convicted and spent 30 years in prison before their sentences were commuted in 2021. His campaign said that Fetterman led the charge for the Board of Pardons to commute their sentences to time served. Fetterman has been in front of Oz in a slew of recent polls in a race that could be decided. Control of the Senate, and poll tracker 538 currently rates the Democrat as a favorite to win. Yeah, and I think I saw on is it Politico? They kind of do these kind of polls type of things. They said they still toss up, but Fetterman is like slightly ahead. I kind of get it when you're if you're new to a state or whatever, and you're like, I don't like Democrats or whatever, you don't like the opposite party, I don't like Republicans. And then you have, so I recently had to vote in Missouri. I'm back here helping my mom, and I can't remember the one candidate that I voted for, and I didn't do any research on this because I just recently moved back to Missouri, so I didn't know any of these candidates. This was like primaries, and so I just voted for the one Bernie Sanders endorsed. Like, that's all I fucking did. Like, that's a horrible way to go about it. He didn't win, by the way, but I think my mom didn't want Eric Greitens, who's like this child sex trafficker dude, coming in, and he's like, I just want to vote him out, and he barely did it. Anyways, though, so if you don't know, John Fetterman's been trolling Dr. Oz in very many ways. Dr. Oz posted a video of him going to a grocery store. He went to Wegner's, and he called it Wegmans? No, he went to Wegmans. That's the name of the grocery store. It's like a Northeast grocery store, and he called it Wegner's. It was like combined with 2 grocery stores. He's like, I'm at Wegner's right now. First of all, not even, like, clearly you've never been to a grocery store. You haven't been to a grocery store in a very long time. Like, clearly someone's getting your groceries for you. Because the fact that you're calling it the grocery store by the wrong name, it's like, if you call it, like, it's called Aldi, but you're like, I'm going to Aldi's. And I know, all these nuts in your mouth? Yeah. But, like, no, he was like, we're going to Wegner's. And I'm like, that's not the name of a grocery store. And that sounds like the name of 2 grocery stores you combine together. Like, the fact that you know the name of 2 grocery stores and combine them together makes it worse. And he's like, make some crudités, which podcast crudités with Josh Casey, author of Dragon Desire, Journey After Swallowtail Kites, needs to be greenlit by me. So he's like, get some crudité, and he's like, dipping carrots and broccoli and salsa. What the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, how expensive is this? I'm like, just buy a fucking veggie tray for $12, buddy. Feeds the whole party. He's like, he's so out of touch with like actual people. That's why I never get. That's what Republicans is just like, this rich guy with fucking gold toilets. He's gonna represent you, small redneck towns. He's the one. He understands what railroad workers are like. You think they know what you think they haven't been on a train in the U.S. ever. Like, maybe, like, one time. You think they fucking know what trains are? Like, they probably don't know what it's like. Oh, can't you just... They probably don't... I don't know what to say about trains. I don't know how trains work. I'm sorry. I know you throw coal in a thing and it works and it can carry a lot of people. Anyways, though, like... We're talking about, like, someone's going to be on here, like, well, John Fetterman's been making fun of Dr. Oz on Twitter, so why can't Dr. Oz do the same back? Well, let's look at what John Fetterman, and yes, I have to say, I do agree with a lot of his politics, like what John Fetterman is saying. Like, I agree with a lot of the things, and I would vote for him if I did live in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman, his trolling is that Dr. Oz went to a grocery store, called it by the wrong name, and described a veggie as crudités, which no one uses that word anymore except for Josh Casey, author of Dragon Desire, Journey After Swallowtail Kites. He posted a tweet with John Fetterman and Bernie Sanders best buds or something like that, and then he replied back, "Graphic design is my friend." John Fetterman also got because Dr. Oz is from New Jersey and lives in New Jersey, bought a house in Pennsylvania just so he could run for Senate. Only reason why. He bought a cameo from Snooki saying he should move back to Jersey and what's so wrong with Jersey, and, makes jokes about how he's from New Jersey and not from Pennsylvania. That's what John Fetterman does, to goof around at him. And even then, like, Trump did worse things. He's making fun of, like, people with disabilities and shit like that. Like, this is pretty light and just fun. It's just funny and stuff like that. What does Dr. Oz do? He says John Fetterman got a heart attack because he doesn't eat vegetables or crudités or whatever the fuck he says. Like, Jesus, dude, he just had a heart attack. Well, what normal candidates would do? Be like, I hope my opponent gets better and I hope he recovers from it. That's what it's respectful. Even if I know we goof around, but it's respectful. Like, well, if you ate a vegetable, you wouldn't have fucking had a heart attack. Now he's hiring fucking like actors to play inmates, to be like, yeah, this dude supports murder. Like, Jesus, dude. Like, John Fetterman's being funny and making a point, and it's a good point. It's like, why would you want this guy? He's not even from the state. He just bought property here because he wants to be in the Senate. Dr. Oz is like, John Fetterman sucks. He has a bad heart, and he's for murder. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? If you're in Pennsylvania, please vote for John Fetterman. I know everyone's always like, please vote this December. I'm like, I get that. That's a good thing. Everyone should vote. It's a good right to have it in the United States. I don't go like that. I just say vote for John Fetterman. First of all, he has great policies, and you want him being that extra vote in the Senate. So, dumbass fucking shit. You don't want the fucking crudités guy in the Senate. Fucking went to the grocery store, wanted some fucking crudités. So expensive to get all the pieces. Thanks, Joe Biden. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Okay. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many, many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.